All right, everybody, welcome back. We're here live at Residency Records on a Tuesday evening.
And it's hot as balls.
Sweltering Tuesday evening here in downtown Salem, Massachusetts. I'm with historic downtown Salem, Massachusetts. I'm here with my pal, Bro, who, by the way, owns this incredible record store that we're in right now.
Yes.
It's called Residency Records. And everybody knows far and wide, if you got some crucial new release that's coming out, you come here on Friday morning, and this man will deliver it to you. That's what he's known for. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
We know a lot about records.
We do.
I know a lot about records because, as you know, I'm the frankly legendary rock and roll writer, Sleaze Grinder, who's been shoveling the shit to you for over 30 years now. And this guy, he's selling it to you every day.
Every day.
So we know what's up, and that's why we're here today. It's the middle of June, which, bro, if we do math, that's half of the year.
Yeah, more.
The year is 12 months. This is the 6th, so we just got another 6 to go.
Yes.
So what we're going to figure out here is what are the best records that have been released so far this year.
There's been a lot of good ones this year so far. I'm not that, there's a lot of people out there who think that, like, nothing good has come out since, like, 1987. I'm not one of them.
You're not one of those guys. You like to keep it fresh.
I do. There's tons of new music being released every day that will age very well and go down in history as some of the best recorded music ever.
So we're going to do two things tonight. We're going to give you our top 10 of the year so far, 2024, but also we're going to try out another pizza joint here because it's time for the Devil's Triangle, obviously. You ready? We're gonna try out North House Pizza tonight. We're very excited about that.
You wanna? Oh no, we could talk about that when we get to it.
We'll talk about what?
Your cheese slice that you had.
I did have a cheese slice. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
Okay.
All right. So before we get to the pizza, we're gonna get to the rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
We have 10 each. I didn't bring mine. I figure what I'll do is.
You don't know what they are?
No, I know what they are.
Oh.
I'm saying I didn't bring the physical copies with me.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Because some of them aren't physical.
Yeah. Oh.
So I will just do this, and then boop, it'll pop up.
He'll pop it up.
I'll throw it in the AI. AI will do it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Soon AI is going to replace us.
Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. They don't have to do shit. Just hang out. All right, so here you go, everybody. According to Ken, a.k.a. Sleaze Grinder, and Bro, the man that owns Residency Records, here are our top 10 so far this year in 2024. Obviously, we start at 10. Bro, what do you got?
All right, so mine aren't in any real order. These are the ones that I have found myself kind of going back to over and over again over the last, 6 months. So we're just going to start with this one. This is the Mesthetics with James Brandon Lewis. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not, but that's okay. This is the Mesthetics are feature the rhythm section of Fugazi. Joe Lally and Brendan Canty with another guy on guitar, this guy Anthony Pirog. They did a record with a contemporary jazz saxophone player called, his name is James Brandon Lewis, so it's kind of like post-punk meets free jazz. Very well executed. I just saw him live a few weeks ago, and the live show actually was like 10 times better than the record. So you take that for what it is. Like the record, I guess, has a blueprint to what you're going to see live, and then they just like melt your faces off live. So yeah, and obviously, like, after seeing them basically do this whole album live, it kind of made me appreciate the record even more. So this is a heavy contender for a top 10 of the year for me. Yeah, it's the self-titled Mesthetics and James Brandon Lewis. It is on Impulse.
Mesthetics is number 10 for Bro. Number 10 for me is Castle Burner with the Dark Ages EP, traditional slash thrash metal from Denver, which is in Colorado, as you know. As you know. That is epic in both scope and execution. Lots of songs about crushing your enemies and getting thrown into dungeons. It rules. If you are presented with a band that's called Castle Burner, you're going to expect something.
Yes.
And guess what happens when you listen to Castle Burner? You get it.
No remorse, living long. No masters, not one God, killing corpse.
Do you know they, you know the song London Dungeons?
I do.
It's by the Misfits.
I heard of them.
So apparently there really was London Dungeons, and what would happen is, like if they're done with you for whatever reason, they just drop you in a hole.
Yeah, they just leave you. Yeah, I was in Paris. They did that in France too. Like, I went to like one of those prisons that were operating in the 1600s or 1700s, and they showed us like literally a hole in the floor that led out to the River Seine, and they were like, yeah, if you died in prison or like they were done with you, they just literally would just slide you into this hole and you would just like go out into the river, never to be seen again. Wild.
Yeah, I mean that's it. No bread and water, no nothing.
No.
Throw you in the hole, forget about you.
Yeah.
Castle Burner, everybody. What's number 9 on your list?
We'll just do this one. So, one of my favorite death doom gothic metal bands put out a new record this year. It is called Immortal Binding by My Dying Bride, the great English death doom / gothic metal band. This is a new album. It's really good. It's everything you want from them. Production is a little bit grittier than the last couple records, which I like. I thought the last couple records were a little bit overproduced, a lot more on the synth side, some like female kind of operatic vocals, which I'm not really into. This is kind of a little bit more crushing. It's produced well, it's big, but it's heavy, crushing, kind of classic, kind of a modern take on like a classic My Dying Bride sound. It's not like Turn Loose the Swans or the early stuff that's gritty because of like production techniques and whatnot. It's very modern sounding, but the songs and the feeling is kind of very classic My Dying Bride. And it is on Nuclear Blast, so take what you want from that.
Everybody, My Dying Bride is number 9 for Bro. My number 9 is, by the way, I'm not the biggest Death Doom fan, but I tell you, I heard a record just today. I forget the name of the record, but you can look it up, obviously. But the name of the band is called Bog Monster, and it is a killer Death Doom extravaganza in the vein of Worm, if you like Florida's Worm. Number 9 for me is by the Cavemen. It's called Cash 4. That's a numeral. Cash 4 Scrap. The Cavemen are from New Zealand, of all places. And if you ask me, they're the best garage punk band in operation today. Killer hooks, fuzzy guitars everywhere, snotty vocals, the whole thing. I absolutely love it. get any of the Cavemen records, you're going to have a good time. But this particular one kicks ass. Cash for Strap by the Cavemen from New Zealand. Check it out. Next.
Where
8.
8. All right. I will do this one. So, my 8th pick is another jazz record. It is by Shabaka, who is a British flute player, saxophone, clarinet. He is also in the Sons of Kemet and The Comet is Coming, two other great jazz outfits of the last 10 years. This album is basically like a flute album, and I've described it as if you want a better, more orthodox jazz approach to the Andre 3000 record, this is it. This album comes from someone who is rooted in the jazz world, who is a traditional jazz musician, although he's a new guy, so he's breaking a lot of new ground in terms of forms and structures and whatnot. But for me, it's not gimmicky like the Andre 3000 record was. It's a lot more adventurous than that record as well. It is called Perceive Its Beauty, Acknowledge Its Grace from Shabaka, and it is also on Impulse, the great jazz label. So if you heard the Andre 3000 record and you were like, nah, this isn't for me, I want something that's rooted in real jazz, here you go, Shabaka.
Thank you, buddy. Now we're on to, what are we on to, number 7?
Yeah, no, you're 8, I think.
I'm on to number 7. The Sleaze. It's what you call self-titled. It's the name of the band. It's also the name of the record.
They have a song called that on the...
No, they don't. They didn't do the trifecta.
Okay.
So it's the guy from the band Count Vaseline. And then what happens is, somehow or another, he's there in Memphis. Was he in Memphis? Yes. No, he's in Nashville. And somehow he meets the guitar tech for the UK band Stiff Little Fingers.
Interesting.
And they go, you know what? Let's form a fucking band. And then they form a band. It's called the Sleaze, and it's probably one of the greatest garage punk albums of the entire year. Super catchy, killer hooks. It's the whole package. I really love it, everybody. It's Sleaze, and by the way, Sleaze is some kind of British slang, for a bad guy. Sleaze.
And if you see them dancing boys hanging out on the corner, making too much noise, won't you tell them I was asking for them? That they look great, to never lose their sweetness in the face of hate.
What do you got next?
Okay, so my next pick, 6, is the brand new album from the mighty Midnight. Love this album. Classic Midnight sound. I love these guys. They make no bones about just doing what they do, writing riffs, keeping it nasty, and just the first song, Expect Total Hell, is another like fucking Midnight anthem. Like you put it on, I'd say if I was like more of like a hooligan type, you throw this album on, you grab your baseball bat and your hood, and you want to go out and like cause mayhem.
Right.
Midnight, you know them, you love them. They mix the best of Motorhead. They mix the best of Venom. They write anthems. This album's no exception. It's on Metal Blade, of course. Midnight. Album is called Hellish Expectations, which, I mean, everything about this band, branding, it's all on point. The songs, the title, the artwork, they're also coming too in the end of August.
Oh yeah, they are with Exciter and Wraith. It is going to be.
You got a Wraith back patch on.
I got a Wraith back patch on right now. It is going to be one of the greatest shows of the year.
Fucking midnight.
Fucking midnight. That's exactly right.
We've already come for your fleas. Expect no closure. Expect no mercy. Expect total hell.
Thank you, buddy. Up next for me is Bokassa, All Out of Dreams. To me, the finest band out of Norway since Turbo Negro. Kind of a mashup of 90s melodic punk and, like dick swinging arena rock. Throw those two things together with, sarcastic lyrics about storming the Capitol and the world ending and all that kind of stuff. The repeatability of these records is what I'm really all about, because there's so many records these days that are just one and done. You listen to it, you go, I like it, and then you never fucking listen to it again.
Even really great records.
It's just the nature of the beast these days, because you're getting so much information at once. But every once in a while, you get a record and you go, I got to listen to this again. And by the way, your brain loves it. That's why we like music in the first place, is because your brain enjoys knowing what happens next. And once you know a song, you know what happens next. So it enjoys the anticipation. So especially if something is catchy, it's going to get stuck in there. Bokassa, you got to check them out. I love them. All Out of Dreams.
I guess I'm dying tonight. I guess I'm dying tonight. I guess I'm dying for a cause I can't remember. But a pulse must be dismembered. Guess I'm dying tonight.
Next.
All right, my number 5 is the new album from the brilliant indie rock god himself, Jay Mascis, from the mighty Dinosaur Jr. It is called What Do We Do Now? It is on Sub Pop. I love this album, and one of the reasons why is because it's the solo record that is the closest to a Dinosaur Jr. record. I am generally not a fan when the solo stuff starts to bleed into the band stuff in an artist. I like it separate, but Jay's the exception to the rule, where the more the lines blur between the shit he writes for Dinosaur Jr. as opposed to the shit he does for his solo records starts to blur, and the Dinosaur Jr. end of his writing bleeds into the solo stuff. I like it more. So this is got moments that could have been throwaway Dinosaur Jr. tracks. They're on this. This album's awesome. He's got ripping solos on it. Classic Jay Mascis. Yep, it's called What Do We Do Now?
If we're back up strong, not sure what down in. Can we speak about what's gone?
Next up for me, Blood Ritual with Do You Believe, which is some killer crossover thrash with a heavy rock and roll influence from North Carolina. My favorite kind of heavy metal is when it's actually rock and roll, and that's what we got with this one. Great record, cool guys. By the way, you can check out our YouTube channel, the Heavy Leather Forever YouTube channel. I interviewed the boys in Blood Ritual. We had a good old talk. I want you to check it out, and I want you to check out their record. It's a killer. Blood Ritual. That's me. What's that? That's me. What's next?
All right, I think this is number 5. Number 5 is the new one from Shellac. It is called To All Trains, and it was released literally the week that Steve Albini died. Rest in peace, Steve. It is classic noise rock from one of the best to do it. Shellac, it doesn't need a lot of introduction. The lyrics are biting. The bass is crunchy. The guitars are angular. It's very noisy. It's on Touch and Go. You can't stream it, and you can't buy this anywhere right now. It's literally sold out everywhere. but hopefully we'll get it back in soon. The new shellac to all trains.
There you go, Steve Albini, R.I.P. Number 5 for me is Jesus and the Mary Chain with Glasgow Smile. Second album since the Reformation. And it's fantastic. Lyrics, hooks, the whole package. Now, really does a band of this vintage, in this genre, stay relevant enough to make records that are as good now as they were 40 years ago? You can pull that off sometimes with, very structured music like heavy metal, but with a rock and roll band, that's very difficult to do. But I swear to God, if you believe nothing else that I say today, I am telling you that Jesus and Mary Chain are as good now as they were in 1985. Fantastic songwriters, so biting and sarcastic and nihilistic, but also so poppy and somehow optimistic at the same time. It's just really, really great stuff. And I can't believe that they're still producing such quality material. And also, by the way, if you're here in the U.S. of A. in October, they're coming to the U.S. They're going to be touring. They'll be here in Boston with Psychedelic Furs, which is going to be a great show.
That will be a good show.
I saw Psych Furs a couple years ago. Saw JAMC a couple years ago. Both were great. Together, wow, it's going to be, what a night that's going to be. So, check them out. Check out the tour dates. Check out this record. You will not be disappointed. Number 5. Number 4.
Number 4. Yeah. Number 4 for me is the new Slift. It is called Ilion. It is also on Sub Pop, and these guys are a French heavy psych band. This album is really long and adventurous, and it's a journey, and it requires multiple listens, which is difficult record to put out these days because the attention span of people, me included, is very, very short now. But there's a lot on here to keep you coming back, and then every time you listen to it, you discover new things, and you hear something new. It's extremely dense. It's really progressive for this kind of music. Their early stuff is very much like, like the OC's worship or like King Gizzard worship. They've separated themselves with this album, Ilion, from Slift, and they're actually coming to the Brighton Music Hall in October. So if you didn't see them at the last time when they played Sonia, you should definitely check this album out and check them out. They're 3 dudes from France who play the unbelievably progressive psychedelic rock. So, check them out. Slift.
This guy's right. As a rock and roll writer, I get promos every day of my life. Man, I honestly, generally, I might give them 10, 15 seconds.
I mean, if you can't get through the first song, that's a big problem, but,
So you gotta be hitting me right away, or it's, we'll just move on.
Right.
Number 4 for me is Unholy Swarm with Exterminator. Exterminator, this may be the best thrash metal album of the year. It is vicious. It is catchy. It is evil. I don't have it as my number 1 because my number 1, which is also a thrash metal album, has the best thrash metal song of the year so far. We'll see where it goes. But right now, I am telling you, this is a brand new band, young, hungry, ready for action. There is no way you're not going to enjoy this. This is really, really catchy, dynamic, and
what are they called?
They're called Unholy Swarm. And the best thing about thrash metal is that thrash metal is all about timing. The riff's got to come in at the right time to crush your goddamn skull. And these guys know exactly what's up. Their sense of timing is impeccable. Check them out. Unholy Swarm, Exterminator. This is one of them that I can't. If I wanted, I couldn't hold it because there's no
to this at?
on Bandcamp. There is no physical release yet, but you can check them out. They're online. They're streaming, and you got to check them out. I love them. Unholy Swarm. Extinction is the name of them. Next.
All right. So this album, this list actually has 2 albums featuring one consistent member. So this is number one of the 2. So this is the new Coffin Storm record. It is called Arcana Rising, and it is on Peaceville, and it is a new project featuring 2 dudes from a band I never heard of, and Fenris from Dark Throne on vocals. And I love this album. It's like, so it's caveman, some like caveman riffs with a little bit of Slayer worship at times, and then Fenris singing, but the way he sings is so weird and different. If you ever listen to his Isengard project, it's in that vein. Fenris can't sing for shit. Let's just get that out of the way. But the way he works it into like this album is so good and so weird and so catchy that the first time you put it on, you're like, what the hell is this? But you kind of find yourself like attracted to it. You're like, oh, I need to go back and listen to that, because you know why? They have riffs, and the riffs are what brings you back. So the vocals, you start to kind of either get used to them, it's an acquired taste, or you kind of like say, yeah, this works in a weird way. Coffin Storm, Arcana Rising, featuring Fenris from Dark Throne on vocals. Check it out.
There you go. Like the Cathedral guy, right? Lee Dorian.
Lee Dorian, for sure.
You listen to Cathedral, you go, what the fuck is going on with these vocals? But eventually, you give in, and you're like, all right. Number 3 is Street Panther with Muscle Rock. Is a side project, or maybe just another project. I'm not sure how it works over there. From some of the Dangerines from Montreal, who you may remember from my old TV show, the Heavy Load the Topless Dance Party. They were on. There's a glam swagger in this one. Obviously, Street Panther. It's glammy. It's swaggery, but it's and that's not the 1972 version, it's the 1974 version, when it was like, when the Hooligans took over glam, and it was all about fist fighting on Saturday night. That's the vibe you get. It's glam that's surging into pub rock, and people just knocking each other's teeth out, and it's great. It's a super fun Saturday night record. It's a Street Panther. Muscle Rock, that's my number 3. Number 3 for you.
No,
number 2.
Number 2 for me. All right, so number 2 is the second album that features the same guy. It is obviously the new fucking Dark Throne record. It is called It Beckons Us All. Obviously, it's Dark Throne. It's fucking brilliant. They are in this mode of just writing caveman riffs, and they just plod along nicely. They've been doing this for this is like the 5th album in that vein, and I just love this era of the band.
This guy's nuts about Dark Throne. I come in on Fridays, and to hang out, and he says, "What do you want to hear?" And I go, "I don't play Rocket Man by Elton John," and he goes, "Nope, I'm going to play Dark Throne," and that's what we listen to.
I mean, I love that Elton John song.
Play Rocket Man, man. Let's get going. All right, number 2 is Kerry King with his album From Hell I Rise. And so here's the thing. I never really thought about Kerry King before, that much, because he was just a Slayer guy, Now I have to think of him as a person. And when I look back at, like, interviews that he did and stuff, I always got the feeling that he was kind of a lunkhead, And he got tribal tattoos. Remember that? Got all these tribal tattoos on his head, of all places. That's not a forward-thinking person. But here's what happened. Slayer broke up, and he was like, you know what? We're young people. We're young men. A Slayer shouldn't be broken up. I'm just going to form another Slayer. So he got the Death Angel guy. He put together a new Slayer. It's fucking killer. Does he seem like a lunkhead? He does seem like a lunkhead. The lyrics are like, second-rate Pantera, and second-rate Pantera is, fourth-rate dictators. You know what I mean? It's just like dumb tough guy stuff. But the song Idle Hands.
The Monster Energy crew.
Right, exactly.
I love that record.
What's funny is that I was talking to. We're going to talk about this guy in a minute. I'll talk about it then. But anyway, the song "Idle Hands," and this goes back with thrash metal with timing. The timing on this song "Idle Hands" is fucking incredible. The way the riffs come in and out, it just blows you away. What a fucking explosion of energy it is. The rest of the record not as good, but still. A definitely contender for one of the very best thrash metal records of the year. And honestly, it sounds like Slayer. So if you like Slayer, you're going to love the new Kerry King record, From Hell I Rise.
So begins my revolution. Violence spreads my retribution. It's a great retaliate. I can't believe what I see with my own eyes.
That's my number 2. What's your number 1,
Well,
bro?
can I add something about the Kerry King? Yeah. So, I don't give a shit about Slayer. I don't like a Slayer record since Seasons in the Abyss. With that said, I gave this record a listen, and I put it on at the gym, and I listened to the whole thing, and you got to give credit where credit's due. He's fucking Kerry King, okay? The dude played and wrote half of the greatest, if not the greatest, one of the greatest, one of the most influential thrash records ever, The Mighty Rain and Blood. He's a legend. And you know what? Why should he stop? Just because Tom Araya don't want to stop. He got the dude from Dark Angel, or Death Angel, sorry. I mean, that dude's no slouch. He's got Paul Bostaff on drums. Like, it's essentially Slayer. If you love, like, post-Hanneman, Kerry King-driven Slayer, whatever, and maybe God Hates It's All, the one after that, Christ Illusion, I don't know. Later Slayer, where Kerry was basically writing and playing everything, this is definitely going to scratch that itch for that sound. And you know what? It won't make my list, but I have to say, I listen to the entire thing at the gym, and that rarely happens.
There you go. So let's get to it. What's your number 1, buddy?
My number 1 is the new one from Jessica Pratt. She is a folk artist. I don't know where she's from. I'm assuming she's American. The album is called Here in the Pitch, and she's been putting out records now for like 10 years, and this is great. It's very atmospheric, wispy folk music, but this album she leans very heavily into like her British folk influences, like Anne Briggs or Sandy Denny, Nick Drake. This album, if you're into like really great, haunting, delicate folk songs, this is the one. She's great. she's actually playing Boston on in July, the end of July. I will not be able to go because I actually have tickets for another show that night. But yeah, Jessica Pratt here in the pitch. It's on Mexican Summer if you care about labels.
Hiding the tricks up my sleeve used to be the greatest I've seen. Time's gone, again.
There you go. I had her first record. I liked it. And number one for me so far, 2024, halfway through. I mean, usually the second half is better than the first half when it comes for releases and stuff. But still, it's been a great first 6 months.
Great year so far.
My favorites, my number one so far is "Friends of Hell" with "God Damned You to Hell." They're named after the second Witchfinder General record, so you should probably know that right away.
Yeah.
So you know what's on the menu.
That stuff.
The first album had Albert Witchfinder from Reverend Bizarre on vocals, which was great. But this time out, it's Hell Butcher from Niflheim, and also his band Hell Butcher. By the way, you can see my interview with Hell Butcher on our YouTube channel. Did that a couple weeks ago, and I gotta say this version is way better. Although I enjoy Albert Witchfinder's very unique vocals, probably more than Hell Butcher's, the songs on this one are much tighter, hookier, heavier, just much more dynamic. And I don't know, it's just a great record. It's a fantastic doom record. And again, high repeatability. And, you don't want to just listen to it once. You want to listen to it all day long. It's a fantastic record.
Child of Satan, come to me. The torture wheel will set you free.
Good. And by the way, and so that's my number one. But also what I wanted to say is, speaking of Hell Butcher, I was talking to Hell Butcher about it. Because Hell Butcher is very much into, he's like, a true metal guy, right? True metal. And I go, back in the 80s, there was true metal and there was false metal. But now all the lines are blurred. What is, right now, Hell Butcher, right now, tell me what false metal is. Give me a false metal band. Couldn't give me one. But then I was just watching, I forget the band, some speed metal band, has a new video where they're chasing down a kid wearing a Five Finger Death Punch t-shirt.
I'll give you one.
So there you go. There's false metal right there. Five Finger Death Punch. You got another one?
Castle Rat.
No, get out of here, Castle Rat. I just got 2 copies of the new record.
It's unfortunate.
What is your issue with Castle Rat?
It's like hipster. It's like a bunch of like Starbucks drinking hipsters that just got like stumbled upon a Candlemass song in a playlist.
Oh my God. What about Sleep Token?
Oof, sorry. Ooh, awful.
Right?
Terrible. I would say if you're into the classic, this almost made my top 10. It was a hard cut from the list. But if you don't have the new Early Moods record, you got to get it.
Oh, yeah. Early Moods is great.
That record that's where it's at for like classic, like Doom, like Candlemass Worship. Like, yeah, Early Moods.
Castle Rat's great, though. And they're going to be at RPM Fest. It's going to be awesome. All right, listen. We've done it. We've given you all that we can musically. Those are the top 10 so far this year. We'll see what happens at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We'll come back when Bro has his Christmas tree up in the corner there. But now, as you know, it's time for the Deadly Triangle. There you go. We're going to try out the North House pizza. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your introductory cheese slice you had?
Yeah, so I had a slice. There was a big fat slice of cheese sitting there.
Big slice.
while we were ordering, and I was like, I got to have it. So I had it, and I have to say that I there was almost no sauce in that particular slice. We'll see what we got. But this one, look at that. Yeah, you show this to the...
That's loaded.
That is... Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, so it looks like they use sliced sausage. So
Yeah.
Ken and I decided to go with a topping pizza for this episode. Normally we will do a cheese because if you can't get just a cheese right, why even waste your time with pizzas with a topping? But we talked about it, and it's him and our segment, so we decided to get that.
There you go. And also, what I enjoyed about the experience was when he was getting his pizza, he was like, hey, man, can I have some Parmesan cheese? Can I have some red pepper? And she's like, what? I think there's some right there. I'm like, no. I need some to go.
You know what? I was a little disappointed that basically where post-COVID, where everything is fucking takeout, that they did not have ready to go, like to-go things of Parmesan cheese and red pepper, because those are two things that I love on my pizza.
Exactly. So it's on North Street. By the way, interestingly, there are two houses right around there that Stacey and I looked at when we were moving to Salem. One is actually in the parking lot of the North House, which used to be dorms for Salem State College, and they turned it into a house. We didn't take that one, and now it's apartments. And then also, the one with the giant,
You know that one, yeah.
the giant skeletons. We looked at that one too.
Yeah.
So this could have very well have been our go-to pizza place.
Which probably would have been unfortunate.
Well, we'll see.
Well, you want to talk about the cheese? Want to talk about the cheese, or do you want to do that after? Do you have an opinion about the cheese pizza, or do you want to wait?
No, I said that I just didn't feel like it had enough sauce.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Okay, but now we're gonna try the actual
This has
pizza.
been sitting a while too, so that's okay though.
Oh yeah, it's cold. Well,
It was hot when we got it, but
of course. I remember that. We're gonna chew on this for a while, and we'll be back in a couple minutes when we figure out what we think.
yeah.
All right, listen. We would like to eat our pizza in peace, so we're gonna wrap it up now, so we can do that. At the end of the day, what are we talking about? What are we giving North House Pizza?
You asked me when I've been there once, no lie, 10 years ago, when we moved to the area, because I live very close to the place. I don't remember it being like this, but clearly I hadn't gone back, and I probably will not go back. I mean, I'm not going to say it's worse than Engine House, but it's pretty fucking close. So I'd say a 1. Like a 1.
Listen, I want to be good to my neighbors and to my local businesses. And I am sure that there are plenty of Salemites out there who love this North House Pizza. But I am with this guy. This reminds me of, this never happened to me. I never got COVID. But when people got COVID and they go, I can't taste anything anymore?
No.
It's like,
It's literally absolutely
this is like if you had COVID and you can't taste anything. And you're eating a pizza.
It's marginally better if you just douse it with Parmesan cheese.
So I'm going to give it a 1, too. What are you going to do? That's the way it goes.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
And there's lots of pizza to be eaten.
That's for sure.